So you've watched my video on how to remove pinstripes from your four-wheel drive paint? No? Well, now's your chance. If you've got scratched up paint, you better go back and watch that now. Okay, done? Good stuff. Now at the end of that video, I mentioned wanting to spray the car in something to protect the paint. Well, that's what I'm going to do today. I'll go further into what the product is in a moment, but first of all, it's been a couple of months since I made that last video. The car's a bit filthy, so we're going to go around with a bucket of car wash and just give it a quick clean up. We also need the product to spray on, obviously. I estimate I'll need 12 cans. Luckily, the Rockingham store has 15 in stock. Unluckily, Rockingham is nearly a 2-hour return journey from my place. I'd recommend you order online if you're not in a hurry. As well as all the cans, you'll need a lot of wax and grease remover. Grab some masking tape too, and while I didn't grab it, having completed the project, I reckon you'll want some taped masking film as well. There we go. 2 massive bags of Duplicolor Custom Wrap. 12 cans of graphite metallic, 2 cans of black. Let's go and see how this goes. The Patrol's washed and dried, and we've got it out of direct sun. That's the product we'll be putting on the car. It doesn't actually say do not apply in direct sunlight, but that's generally the rules with these things, and to put it on hot paint doesn't sound right. So here we are in the shade. Duplicolor Custom Wrap. This is a 396 gram can. Why they don't round that off to 400, I don't know. And I'm doing it graphite metallic. So as you can see from the lid there, it's very close to the color of the Patrol. If you wanted, you could actually change the color of your whole car with enough cans of this. I'm staying with the same color though, because I don't want trouble from the cops. Now before I do anything, it tells me to go over all the areas I want to paint with wax and grease remover. So if you've already done what I suggested in the last video with the polish and wax, bummer, because now we're about to remove the wax. If you're watching this before you've done that, then you're lucky. Don't bother about that last step of waxing. We're going to go and strip it all off. So clean microfiber towel, a little bit of this on there, and I'll go around all the painted surfaces and remove the nice wax coating. So it says on each can that you don't need to mask off, and that anything you overspray, say on the windows, you can just wipe away with a dry cloth. The problem I can see there is I'm going to be putting like 5 coats of this stuff here, and if I get 5 coats like along that seal, it's not just going to rub off, it'll sort of all be one. So to make sure I get nice clean hard lines, I'm just going to tape off all the plastic and rubber black edges there. I'm going to do the same around the lights down here. Lights at the back, lights at the front. Pretty much just so as I'm getting a good even coverage, but we're not going as far as to put newspaper over the windows and everything, because we can just wipe that bigger overspray off. So in I go with a 48mm roll of tape, mask up these edges. Okay, that is about as much as I'm masking up. As you can see, I've come a little bit over the bonnet, just to this little line here. But I'm not going to the middle because all your scratchy sticks will be going straight down the side and maybe just a little bit across the edge of the bonnet here. I'm going up across the top there and then just down the back. Let's have a read of this, shall we? Remove dirt, wax and grease remover. Don't have to mask areas off, but I did anyway. Wheels and stuff. Shake vigorously for 1 full minute. Shake for 10 seconds after each minute of use. Hold can parallel 6 to 10 inches from the surface and use an even sweeping motion. Apply 1 thin light coat of custom wrap, followed by 4 to 5 medium coats. It is recommended to apply 4 to 6 coats for easy removal. So if you only do a couple of coats, it's not going to peel off when you want it to like it should. Got to get it nice and thick so it'll peel off in one sheet. Okay, it says to allow 5 minutes between coats. So I'll start from the back with my light thin coat, work my way to the front, and I reckon by the time I finish the front, it'll be 5 minutes I can go to the back, do my next coat.
Don't forget to wear a face mask while you're spraying this stuff. I did forget on the first coat, and it can't be too good for your health, that's for sure.
First coat, real ugly. The light coat, anyway, says to just do a light coat. So the next coat is going to be a serious coat, a bit heavier. Hopefully it'll start looking good. The passenger side is done. If I'm honest, it's a bit of a dog's breakfast. I guess that's a learning curve. I actually found this stuff harder to spray than paint, to be honest. I've done better paint jobs with permanent paint. This is the problem panel here, the passenger front door. I've got some pretty nasty runs here, up the front, all around here. But the beautiful thing is I can just peel that off. So it took me 4.5 cans to do that entire side, and that was 5 coats. I think where I went wrong with the runs was too heavy on the first coat. So they say to do a light first coat, and by light they mean like your first coat should look like Overspray, like really light. And then after that, just keep going over a little bit heavier. But if it's going on glossy, I think it's going on too thick, and then that's when you get the runs. So each coat should really look like a dusting. Because this is a matte finish, it's not quite ready to touch yet. It came up pretty good on that front quarter panel. The back quarter's not too bad. I'm reasonably happy with this door. There's a bit of a run there. But now that I've made my mistakes on this side, I'm going to go do the other side. I won't film that for you. You don't need to see that. I'll just come back to you when I've done that side, and we'll see what one came out looking better. Well, that took a lot longer than I expected to apply that. The driver's side looks a lot better than the passenger side does. So while applying it took a fair while, applying it was pretty easy. Undoing all the masking tape was not easy. The problem I've had is where the masking tape sits, the stuff sticks to the tape, so you're trying to peel off the tape, and it's trying to peel away the Duplicolor stuff with it as well. So that's a little bit painful. It's lifted in a few spots. I think it might be handy if you've got a sharp scalpel and go along as you peel the tape and run a scalpel along it. All I had was a pocket knife, which helped a bit, but wasn't really sharp enough. Other than that, it peels nice and easy where you want it to, like around this door lock. Something else I've got issue with is on the back of the can it says just take a cloth and wipe away Overspray. Well, that there, what I'm doing is what I'd call a wipe, and it took a little bit away. Scrubbed the bilio out of it, still doesn't come off. If you get your thumb, God, it's still not doing it. Scratching at it with my fingernail comes away, so I'm not impressed with how easy the Overspray comes off at all. That is going to take me forever to clean up. So that might be worth keeping in mind. I'm going to try and use that Mother's Quick Clay thing that I was using for the previous video about removing scratches. So I'll let you know how that goes, because this video isn't finished yet. I'm not just gonna spray the car and go, yeah, this is great, you should do this. I'm gonna take it for a few months on some of our trips and see if this stuff stays on there and if it does protect the paint from scratches at all. It's not what it's designed for, but that's all part of the fun of the test. So we'll come back to this in a couple of months. I'll let you know how I went about removing the Overspray and see how this stuff's fared after a few days out on the tight tracks. Okay, I'd say it's now been a month and a half since I put this custom wrap coating on, and let's see how it's fared. As you can see, the bush has definitely left its marks in the coating. It's quite soft, marks very easily, so it doesn't look pretty, to be honest. It looks like a bush pinstriped patrol, but what I'm hoping is that underneath the coating it still looks okay. I've taken it to two places. I took it up to Ledge Point, which is very scratchy coastal tracks, and then went down to Harvey and followed up to Waroona and got through a few tight tracks there as well. Before, just after I'd coated it, I told you how bad the overspray was and you saw it all over the windows. And I left you saying, I will see how I end up cleaning that stuff up and I'll let you know. Well, I'm here to let you know that it was a pain. I used, I reckon, a whole litre of wax and grease remover, and I just scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed with soaked rags with wax and grease remover. I might have got it off quicker if I used something like thinners, but thinners on paintwork, I don't really know about that, so thought I'd stick with what I know. Wax and grease remover didn't damage the paint before, so it took a lot of work to remove that overspray. The tightness of some of the tracks I went down, I'm quite surprised that it's hung on so well. There's one spot down the back where a stick sort of really dug into it and lifted it a little bit, so I might just spray that a bit more. But of course that all depends if it's actually protected the paint underneath. So we're going to peel off this door. This is the door that I really botched up when I was spraying it. We've got all these big runs here and up along here. So this is the door we're going to peel, and let's see what that paint looks like underneath, eh? Here's what I'm noticing so far, and I don't think you'll be able to see it on the camera. It looks pretty good, but I can see if I follow a scratch line across the coating down to here, I can see that it has transmitted through the paintwork a bit. But it doesn't look like anything a polish won't fix later on. Judging by how bad these scratches look, and I'm sure you'll agree they look bad, it's pretty good under here. I'm reasonably impressed. I did expect to see some marks under there. Okay, final verdict. Would I do it again? Yeah, I would. Looking at this door, like, I went down some really tight tracks. I would not normally go down something that tight. And yeah, lightly, some of those pinstripes have shown through, but it's nothing like it was on my removing pinstripes video. A very light polish will take them out and make it look good again. So I am going to recoat that panel. The problem is eventually it's going to get old and start to peel, and I'll have to take the whole lot off and then be looking at doing it again. Now, it took me 10 cans, 5 each side, and at the moment the shelf price is about $25 per can. So at $25 per can, you're looking at $250 to coat the sides of this. A solid afternoon's work, another 2 hours to wipe off all the overspray because it's not as easy as the can says. And so it's a fair bit of work, but it seems to have done the job pretty well. Now there is another product on the market. This stuff's called Rhino Hide, ABS plastic panels with magnets that are conformed to the shape of your vehicle, but they don't do them for GUs. That's because most GUs are old and beat up. It's not worth creating the molds for them. But if you drive something like a 150 Prado, 200 series Cruiser, I think new Jeeps, Rangers, Colorados, that sort of thing, they do Rhino Hide panels for them. Good thing about them is once you've gone through all your scratchy tracks, you just pop them off and your paint looks good underneath. Whereas with this, while my paint looks good underneath, I'll be driving around the streets with this pinstriped looking custom wrap. Look, Duplicolor markets this product, custom wrap, more towards street cars, spraying, you know, feature lines down your bonnet, or if you want to change the colour of your badges or something, they market it more towards that. It's definitely not a scratch protection product. So if you look at it that way, it does a pretty good job for something it's not designed for. Anyway, I'll let you decide. It's all something to weigh up, but now you don't have to do the experiment because I've done it for you. Well everyone, that is the end of this video. Now it wasn't going to go live so soon, but I got home last night and I found a catalogue in my mailbox for Super Cheap Auto. Now they've got this Duplicolor Custom Wrap on special from the 27th of December to the 11th of January, right across the new year. So if you think this might be a little project for you, there's a bit of a saving to be had there. If it's not for you, that's fine. Maybe in the future there will be something that suits you. So make sure you go down there, click subscribe, and see what we've got coming up. Look forward to seeing you all in the new year with plenty more exciting projects and backyard mechanics and trips and all of that business. See you then.